Again, Bright Week is a day of feasting. And so just as each day of Samun Hamamat had its own day, just as each day of Holy Week had its own name, so each day of Bright Week also has its own name, its own meaning. So I'm gonna briefly just go through all of that. The first day is Bright Monday. It's known as Ma'adot. Ma'adot comes from the Ge'ez verb adawa, which means to cross. And so Ma'adot means crossing over. It means bridge. We're commemorating on this day two things. First, we commemorate the typology of the crossing of the Israelites across the Red Sea. Saint Yared sets up this idea starting in the antiphon of Sunday Paschal service in the Sibhataneg. He says, he brought them out of the land of Egypt and said to them, celebrate this feast with joy. Of course, I'm giving you excerpts. It's not the full thing. The exodus of the Israelites has been the typology for the death and resurrection of Christ since the time of the early church. I'm talking about, we can find this in the writings of, St. Irenaeus and Justin Martyr and the likes, the apostolic fathers. The term Pascha itself, or Fasika, is a derivation of the term Pesach, which means Passover. So Egypt is a symbol of the land of death, of Hades, which enslaved us, the spiritual Israelites. But God brought us, the Israelites, out of Egypt through the Red Sea and into the Promised Land. The Red Sea is, of course, a symbol of the chasm between paradise and Hades. The Israelites before could not cross the Red Sea, otherwise they would drown. In the same way, our forefathers that were imprisoned within the land of Hades could not go into paradise. There was a chasm that was blocking them. But, of course, Moses parted the Red Seas as a type of Christ parting the chasm between paradise and Hades in order for the people to cross. And so this is a symbol of the death of Christ and of the baptism of the followers of Christ. We enter into the midst of the sea, and by immersing ourselves in the sea, we bring death upon our assailants. Because the Red Sea, as you all know, the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, and when Pharaoh and his army tried to cross the Red Sea, they drowned. So this is a typology of the salvation brought about by Christ. And we say, of course, when we talk about the salvation that Christ gave us, he tramples death by his own death. So that sea which gave us salvation also gives death to the enemy. The death of Christ gives us life and gives death to death himself. The promised land, or Canaan, is a symbol of paradise, of the kingdom of heaven. It's given to the Israelites as an inheritance. This inheritance is given to them by means of a covenant, which they remember by the three relics kept in the Ark of the Covenant. The three relics of the Ark of the Covenant. The first is manna, right? Manna, the bread from heaven. That's a symbol of the Holy Eucharist. The second is the rod of Aaron, Betra Aaron, which is a type of the eternal priesthood of Christ. Third is the tablets of the Decalogue, of the Ten Commandments, which is a type of the new covenant of the Adis Kidan, which Christ establishes on Mount Calvary. And the celebration and commemoration of this is Passover, which is the greatest of the three feasts of pilgrimage. God tells the Israelites, Passover is the first day of the first month. And then he says again, this is a day you are to commemorate for the generations to come. You shall celebrate it as a festival to the Lord, a lasting ordinance. This is a type of the Feast of Pascha, which us, the spiritual Israelites, the Christians, celebrate until the end of the world. So there is a symbolism behind everything. And the symbolism we remember, of course, on Bright Monday, And the true mystical interpretation of all of this, of the passing of Israelites from Egypt to Canaan, is the commemoration of the bringing of souls from Hades to paradise. We celebrated this on Kalam Su'ur, on a Holy Saturday, and we remember it again, but this time in the light of the already fulfilled resurrection of Christ. So on Saturday, we remember the bringing out of the souls as we anticipate the resurrection. But now the deed has been done. Christ is risen. So we remember on Bright Monday the Tz'at HaSi'ur, right? The exodus of souls from Hades.